A few weeks ago, Zhiyun sent out their newest gimbal in their lineup to share here on the channel, the Weebill 3. This camera stabilizer is packed full of new and upgraded features, so let's unpack this ultra-light, ultra-portable gimbal. Out of the box, you get a laser-cut foam protector case for the gimbal. Now, it is good to note that to keep the price down on this case, it doesn't have a handle, hinges, or any locking mechanisms. However, if you are looking for a carrying bag, Zhiyun does have one that you can pick up, but personally, I just attached it to the side of my camera bag in the water bottle holder. In the case, you will find your mini tripod, the gimbal itself, the quick release system, all of your cables, the sling handle, and my favorite new feature, the wrist rest. They also sent out their new RGB light, but we'll touch on that a little bit later. Now, with this Weebill being the third version, let's look at what all they changed and upgraded. For starters, the most obvious is the design. This is the new Sling Structure 2.0 built around this L-shaped body. A few major benefits due to this new design. First is a massive increase to battery life, which is now about 21 hours. It also is much lighter, weighing in around 2.73 pounds, and has a microphone built in, integrated light with CCT ranges from 2600 Kelvin to 5400 Kelvin, and upgraded motors. All these upgrades were great, but taking this gimbal out is where a few interesting things immediately jumped out to me. For starters, these locking accesses made balancing the Weebill very easy. Also, this quick release system that allows you to quickly connect and disconnect the camera means if you need to shoot video and quickly switch to photos, the transition is fast and easy. Another major benefit was the weight. I know I mentioned this earlier, but when you're out filming in the Texas heat, every little bit counts. And this gimbal, paired with the A7 IV and the 24-70 lens version 1, is a fairly light and easy to manage for long periods of time setup. I typically do my due diligence of preparing my gear, but my Achilles heels is battery. I am so bad at charging them, and unfortunately, I made the same mistake on my first day out testing. But surprisingly, this wasn't that big of a deal. When I got out to film, I had about 2 notches left when we were out filming for about 5 hours or so, and the battery only dropped down to a single notch by the end of the filming. I can't fully confirm the full reported estimated battery capacity of 21 hours, but I can say that the Weebill does a fairly good job with the battery life, even in the short amount of time that I had with it. Now, as far as the usage goes, if you're fairly used to Zhiyun's gimbals, then this one's gonna be pretty easy and kind of par of the course. Your basic shooting modes are all here, such as pan, follow, lock. Also, if you double tap the mode dial, you'll also gain access to the POV mode, the Vortex, and the portrait mode. This is probably a good time for me to re-bring up my favorite feature, which honestly might make this gimbal worth picking up or upgrading to, which is the wrist rest. Now, before you roll your eyes and blow this thing off, if you've ever had to shoot low angle shots, you'll understand the pressure this puts on your forearms and eventually your back. With the wrist rest, it smartly gives you a great leveraging point that saves your arms and will allow you to film for much longer. Hear me out, every gimbal after this will or should have this one additional accessory. Also, when shooting in portrait mode, this makes this feature actually usable. See, when I've had to use a not to be mentioned 3-letter competitor's gimbal, I have had to use an L bracket on the camera, which means then if I want to shoot vertical and then switch it to go ahead and shoot horizontal, I then have to go through the entire process of rebalancing, which is a pain. With portrait mode, I can easily switch back and forth, no rebalancing needed. Now, I've shown you some of the footage throughout the video, but let's break down how did these shots actually look that were captured with the gimbal. For starters, I found that the gimbal was very smooth. I did just about all the testing in 24 frames per second as to not cheat and slow down the footage, where most things would look smooth anyways, even if it was handheld. That said, I did get a few frames that were shot at a higher frame rate because I was also testing the A7 IV, which that review will be coming out very soon. One cool feature I found in the settings was the assistive Vortex mode. This will spin the gimbal for you and you don't have to actually use the joystick and try to operate the camera and operate the gimbal at the same time. You just set the speed and the rotation amount, and you're all good to go. As I mentioned at the top of this video, Zhiyun did send out this gimbal and sponsored this video, so this is not my official review. This is more of a product highlight video, but that being said, I don't ever feature a product on my channel that I don't actually like, because the last thing I want to do is recommend a product on my platform, have someone buy it from the creative fam, and then they have a terrible experience. I would feel horrible because I understand that most of us have limited resources when it comes to buying gear. Now, along with the gimbal, they did also send out their RGB light, the Fiveray. As far as I'm aware, this is their first RGB tube style light. Now, full transparency, this is a fairly large light and does have some pretty noticeable fans on the back. It comes with a nice carrying case for easy transport. I'm not sure what the price point of this RGB is yet, but because of its size, I think it could work great as a studio light. All in all, this little gimbal from Zhiyun is definitely a head turner if you have the right size camera for it. It seems to check all the right boxes. I want to say thank you to Zhiyun for sponsoring this video. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. And heck, since I never asked, maybe just go ahead and hit the bell while you're down there too, because there's a lot of cool videos that are coming out very soon. Catch you all in the next one. Peace. With the wrist rest, you are... Wrist rest. With the wrist rest, you are wrist rest. I love the feature, but I hate the name. With the wrist rest. Now, I'm showing you a